I'm delighted to be here with you, and of course to congratulate you on the incredibly important work you're doing in joining organized labor and advocates for green technology and the environment and alternative energy together to really work to create a cleaner environment and grow jobs and obviously grow the economy. So welcome to Philadelphia. You may have been welcomed already by the mayor this morning, but I wanted to add my words about how apt it is for you to be in Philadelphia, to be in Pennsylvania for this conference today. Our city and our Commonwealth have a rich history as producers of energy for the nation, and our roots in our Commonwealth is a very green state as well, forests, parks, and rich natural resources. Pennsylvania is rightly known, as you probably know, as a coal state, and more recently, our rich natural gas reserve, a reserve that could serve as an important transition fuel if done right, as we move away from dependence on other fossil fuels towards a green energy economy. Interesting reaction. We have work to do in this state to make sure that that gas is drilled in the right way. We're not there yet. I would agree with that. All right. Some further discussion on that. We also have a very strong history as the home to oil refineries, which are also at issue, and chemical companies, both major contributors to energy that has fueled our industrial base and our standard of living for decades. But Pennsylvania was also named Pennsylvania as Penn's Woods to acknowledge the vibrant forest land and across the Commonwealth. The city of Philadelphia was designated and actually designed as a grid of cities. I hope you get to walk around our city a bit, but with important and clearly designated green public spaces. Rittenhouse Square and Washington Square and our tree-lined parkway, the Benjamin Franklin Parkway, were all designed to understand that a city needed open space and green space to be a strong and vibrant city. We have one of the largest urban parks in the nation, Fairmount Park, which continues to be an important recreation, green space, an important part of who we are as a city. So it is cleaner air for our residents, and green space and trees matter a whole lot to us. And we do have to understand that it doesn't happen, stay sustained unless we actually work on it. Philadelphia also has the history of clean water, public water. It's the first public water system in the nation. And important also in terms of our rich history on healthcare and concern for public health. So there's a legacy to be built on in both the arenas, on all the arenas of energy and environmental protection as well. Many of you believe, as I do, that economic growth and environmental stewardship are not only compatible, but are immeasurably linked. Ignoring the need to develop renewable energy, failing to use valuable resources in environmentally sustainable ways, and neglecting the potential for energy conservation means a missed opportunity for jobs here at home, for energy savings, and for greater energy independence. It is a time, I believe, to build on that legacy I just talked about here in Pennsylvania and across the country by contributing to both the maintenance of our green heritage and the development of new technologies and infrastructure to produce new energy sources and energy conservation that can enrich our communities, protect our environment, and create new jobs. You and all of us really have a lot of work to do to make that true. I admire and commend you again for this effort in bringing different players to the table to be advocates to promote that conservation and efficiently clean sources of energy, clean water and air, and new jobs. Economic growth in a highly competitive global marketplace demands a 21st century energy policy, a policy that starts with a commitment to the dual goals of economic growth and job opportunities and a cleaner, healthier, more sustainable environment. Again, these are goals that are linked, they're not in contrast. The concept of this issue, as you know, the economic growth and environmental sustainability, is still being debated politically, is not completely agreed to, so we have a lot of work to do together. But you saw the reports just last week. We have over 3 million Americans already working directly or indirectly in green jobs. That includes about 180,000 people here in Pennsylvania. They're weatherizing homes, they're retrofitting businesses, they're producing and installing solar panels and windmills, they're designing advanced batteries, they're researching and developing more energy efficient everything, from buildings to appliances, from furnaces to automobiles, and developing new sources of clean energy and new ways to recycle and reuse both industrial and residential materials. Estimates suggest that clean energy market could be worth $2.3 trillion within the next 10 years. That means not only wealth, but new job opportunities from engineering to manufacturing here at home. I've long been an advocate for clean energy jobs and sustainable communities, believing that while we may call for changes in the way we do things, and this does call for change in the way we do things, these changes will produce jobs and reduce energy costs and will make us more self-sufficient. I recall a visit from members of the Boilermakers. This goes back a number of years ago, actually, when I was in the state Senate in Harrisburg, and we were just debating the implementation of the Clean Air Act, which was quite controversial here. Just about every senator would stand up, state senator would stand up on the floor and say, I am for clean air, but I want my industries exempt. And it's what they did say. I'm all for it. It's sort of like the reverse of not in our backyard, but it was kind of what they said. But a group of Boilermakers came in to talk to me, and I was sure that they would be pretty hostile to my position, which is that we should implement the Clean Air Act and that we should require our industries to clean up their act and to be more energy efficient and less polluting. But in fact, they came in pretty excited about all the work they had been doing and would be doing to retrofit furnaces and factories across this Commonwealth, and that they had many contracts already and more that were coming to make sure that those factories were less polluting and more energy efficient. And they were thrilled about the Clean Air Act at the time. So I really appreciated their vision and their understanding of the jobs that it created for them and some of their brothers and sisters in organized labor. There's no question the uncertainty is not an easy thing for either organized labor or any workers to deal with, but making sure that we work to implement EPA standards and that we do that in a way that obviously creates jobs in not only in that cleanup and in monitoring, but also in the future of the kinds of energy manufacturing we will be doing in this state and across this country. A couple weeks ago, moving fast forwarding a little bit, a decade and a half maybe, I visited the Greater Philadelphia Innovation Cluster. I think there's someone here, if not a few, from that cluster. It's a Department of Energy Innovation Hub at our Navy Yard. Here in Philadelphia. It's led by Penn State. It's a collaborative effort, one of two in the nation funded by the Department of Energy that is intended to explore, define, and disseminate best practices in energy efficiency in building construction, renovation, and maintenance. It's pretty exciting, and our Navy Yard itself is a very exciting reuse and new development of a former Navy Yard that was closed about 20 years ago. I've also taken a visit there. I helped get that grant. I've taken a lead in promoting and accelerating the development of sustainable communities in my own district. I used some of the transportation infrastructure dollars we used to have. We haven't had one for a while. You heard the debate about transportation infrastructure dollars to promote transit-oriented Main Street development in small towns in suburban Philadelphia and actually in some of the areas of the city of Philadelphia as well. I represent Northeast Philadelphia, both industrial but also residential area, but also half of one of the suburban counties, Montgomery County. So when you look at Ambler and Lansdale and Jenkintown, they look different today as a result. Seeing renovated transit stations, we've seen main streets revitalized, we've seen more walkable communities, and we've seen some new development that is really pretty exciting. I secured dollars to support a new greenway along the North Delaware. A lot of conversations, if you're in Philadelphia, about the Central Delaware, but North Delaware, I have 11 miles of the North Delaware in my district. This is mostly industrial area, cut off by the construction of Interstate 95. So there's a swath of land that is sort of became a little bit of, what is it? You know, how do we deal with this? Is it going to be residential, industrial? What about that riverfront? And the riverfront has been pretty cut off to the use by by residents of Northeast Philadelphia. So we've actually done a plan for the riverfront, got some dollars, not insignificant number of dollars, about $23 million, to begin the process of park space, open space, making sure that we can actually also get residents of Northeast Philadelphia straight to the riverfront to use in a variety of ways that will help build sustainable, livable communities for residents of Northeast Philadelphia. We've been very successful in Philadelphia. I hope that the mayor talked about some of the Tiger grants, really interesting, very competitive transportation grants that come out of the federal government. There have been 3 rounds. Philadelphia's gotten 1 in each round. One was, again, bike paths, trails through 3 states, New Jersey, Philadelphia, and Delaware, increasing the quality of life, adding green space, encouraging bike commuting as well as recreation. Most recently, and if you go outside, you'll see it just near City Hall, a new plaza for City Hall. That's what's going to be visible. It is actually, if you walk underground, it is a major transportation hub with suburban station. A lot of my constituents use that transportation to come in and out of the city every day. Reconfiguring that, making it more user-friendly, making it more pleasant and secure, and creating a green space from a space that is almost all cement right now that will also be a vibrant public space right in the middle of the city of Philadelphia. You heard from the mayor, and I won't talk about some of the efforts he's been doing in terms of green Philadelphia, pretty extraordinary on so many different levels. But also as a part of promoting energy efficiency, commercial buildings, successful in adding an increase to tax credits for 50% more energy efficient commercial buildings that is being put to good use in construction jobs across this country. And I've worked to modernize something that seems sort of esoteric, but it's the historic tax credit. We have a lot of older buildings in this region. We have a lot of older buildings across this country. What a great recycling to reuse old buildings and to make them more energy efficient while we're doing it. I am still working on that. Got close on an energy efficient aspect of the historic tax credit on the federal level. It is a way to restore and reuse older buildings that are important to many of our communities. Working to promote greening of local communities in urban and rural America through local community planning and expertise from the private sector in how to green our communities. I've authored legislation to offer tax incentives to startup companies to stimulate the development of biofuels, modeled after legislation I was able to get done on life sciences and biotechnology. And I'm working closely, and I don't know if the mayor mentioned this, with the Philadelphia Water Department on an application they have with the EPA to reconstruct. I mentioned that old water system, the pride of being the first public water system in Philadelphia. I think some of the pipes we have are still from that original water system, maybe not quite, but there are still some pipes underground that are from the 1800s. Water systems, infrastructure across this nation are aging and need substantial amount of work. The application to the EPA by the city of Philadelphia suggests doing it and meeting the clean water standards by a mixture of green and gray infrastructure. Extraordinary. When we win this award, this application, we get approval from the EPA, it will be the largest city to undertake this kind of redevelopment and reconstruction of our water system through both green and gray technology. It would be a quite remarkable undertaking, and as I say, the largest in the nation. So let me just say that there's so many initiatives, large and small, that are going on here in this region and across the country that have the potential for great energy efficiency, energy independence, cleaner energy, and a stronger economy. But as was suggested, and I just came in on the end of the last panel, it's a pretty tough time politically to move ahead on some of these initiatives. That's true on the federal level. It's certainly true on many state levels as well. So it's tough right now. I will say congressional Republicans, who are of course in charge in the House of Representatives, have focused on weakening environmental regulations and on subsidizing fossil fuels at the expense of clean energy. Last year, the House voted, at the insistence of the House majority, we held 191 times we voted to reduce or eliminate environmental regulations. That's pretty significant. Time and again, that is their answer to economic growth, is to reduce or eliminate environmental protections. And they continue to insist on maintaining $40 billion in tax credits for the largest, most profitable oil and gas companies in this country. Those dollars could be reused for deficit reduction. They could also be used for alternative, cleaner energy use and stimulating the clean energy technology. Most recently, of course, you heard about the transportation infrastructure bill not getting done. It's pretty outrageous. We just extended it for another three months. We have work to do to build these projects. As you know, they don't get done in a minute. We could well lose a construction season if we don't get this done and are able to say to our states and local communities, let's move ahead on infrastructure. Let's have put people to work, and let's do it in the right way. So we can't let this stop us. The president has moved ahead. The Recovery Act poured $90 billion into clean energy projects across this country. The president's budget proposal this year promises, again, a significant investment in clean energy and infrastructure. We have to continue to push, and push together and a push from labor and the environmental community is enormously important as we move ahead, hopefully, on these projects. Building infrastructure in new ways, retrofitting those older buildings, extracting old energy sources out of the ground in cleaner ways, developing and distributing new cleaner energy sources, reuse of old materials, manufacturing in a more energy efficient way, and manufacturing more energy efficient products, and requiring higher fuel efficiency standards, all work in ways that create jobs for Americans, jobs that will certainly we could use right now and well into the future. So the opportunities are here, the potential is here. I would say that we need to use what it takes is our political will, our political force, and our creativity, our intellectual capacity, and our confidence in ourselves, and our ability and our belief in ourselves that we can, in fact, meet these challenges in a way that works for all of us. So some would say now's not the time, that the economy is just recovering, let's hold off. But I would say, and I think you would as well, there's no time to waste and no better time to put Americans to work building a greener, cleaner economy for the future. So thank you for your efforts. I look forward to working with you. I think this is a great opportunity for us to bring together important advocates in our community for working Americans for a cleaner environment and to work together to make sure that this debate ends up being not just moving in circles, but moving us directly ahead towards new jobs and a cleaner environment. They go hand in hand. You believe that, so do I. Let's make it happen. Thanks so much.